Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're playing the Sum of All Fears. Well, I think that I've actually added, as you can see from the title there, it clearly isn't there. Now, when I see kind of a puzzle named the Sum of All Fears, I can't help myself but remember a movie I saw, I think it was early 2000s. So sort of a young man in my 20s or just left my teenage years behind, and it was a lovely movie in the sense that kind of high action, high octane as they call, lots of energy. But I'm trying not to give anything away. First off, the actual story is sort of quite sad. Not really sure I want to necessarily bring it up. But it does involve, radioactive material, I'll call it that, being shipped around the world in containers and sort of being smuggled around. I'm not sure I would necessarily recommend the movie. In hindsight, now that I'm a little bit older, it's not actually that great. But, for someone who loves action, when I was a bit younger, it was absolutely fine. Now, the actual puzzle here, Sum of All Fears, is from Dr. Logic, who is, as we all know, quite a young man. He only recently celebrated his 18th birthday, which I think makes him too young to have even been born when this movie came out. That's how old I am, at least. Let's take a look at the puzzle. So we've got Sum of All Fears by Dr. Logic. I'm not sure I get how the grid references that. Maybe it doesn't. Yeah, I don't necessarily see it. But we've got relatively straightforward set of rules. I should have mentioned it has a 95% rating, so that's one of the main reasons why I selected it. Lots of positive comments, phenomenal rating, so I am looking forward to it, even though I cannot just yet see the magic behind it. I'm sure I will as soon as I start solving it. So, rule set, so we can get on with the solve. Normal Sudoku rules apply, so that means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. We have sum lines. So all the blue lines, the sum of the digits on the region sum line, is the same for each box it occupies. This value may be different for different lines. So, for example, these three cells, which are on this sum line up here, are going to add up to a value. Let's say it's 7. Now, every time that line crosses into another box, however many cells there may be, it would have to have the same value. So if these three add up to 7, that would be 7, that would be 7. Now, it explicitly states that not all the sum lines are the same, and thankfully they're not, because otherwise, if that was a 7 and that was a 7, we'd break Sudoku. So clearly there are going to be multiple different sums. It's just for the same line, you need to make sure that it is indeed the same sum. How many times can I say sum in this introduction? We also have German whispers. So digits along a green German whispers line must differ by at least a 5. So for example, if this digit here was a 2, either side of it would have to be 5 or more away. So that would be 7, 8, or 9, 7, 8, or 9. And you end up with this pattern of oscillating between high digits, low digits, high digits. And remember, on German whisper lines, you can't have a 5. You would struggle to find 2 digits from Sudoku's set that can be 5 or more away. Lastly, we have Kropke dots. We've got black Kropke dots, white Kropke dots, and a confirmation that there are no negative constraints. So if I start up here, if this cell was a 2, this would have to be in a 2 to 1 ratio, or 1 to 2 ratio is written. That could literally be a 1, as in 1 to 2, or 4. As long as one is double the other, you are good to go. We also have consecutive ones, the white Kropke dot. If that was a 2, this cell, which is joined by the white dot, would have to be consecutive with 1 or 3. Well, that's all the rules. I'll be specific and say that there is nothing wrong with having something like that. There is no negative constraint, so the fact that there is no dots between these two cells, that's not necessarily going to be an issue. So, if you feel like going down memory lane, or just enjoying this puzzle if you've actually not seen the movie or haven't liked it, wouldn't surprise me. Link will be in the description down below as usual for you to play along. And with that said, all that's left to do is for me to restart the clock and see how I get on. So I feel like the region sum lines is the place to start. And I mean, frankly, it's not really so difficult for me to say that because whilst there is a little bit of information elsewhere in the grid, all of these clues, there's really not a lot of them to help me get going anywhere except potentially these. Now, the other thing that I'm also noticing about these region sum lines is they all have like a branch that is 3 cells and a branch that is 1 cell. And that's significant because if you think about it, the minimum you can make 3 cells will be 1, 2, and 3 in the same box, adding up to 6. But then you are always limited to a sum that is, there you go, a sum that is a single digit because all of these region sum lines have at least one branch that is a single cell. So the way I'm thinking about it is maybe it's worthwhile coloring this to think about this is some digit from 6, 7, 8, or 9. I don't know what it is. Actually, blue is a bad idea given I'm going to be using German whispers. Maybe purple. You can see that these two are different because they can both see this cell. So I'm going to go with green, yellow. You can see that yellow on here, whatever this sums, this will be yellow again. Now, we do have 4 digits available to us, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then I think the question is, and I'm going to use a different color, like let's say orange. The question is whether this is green, because, you know, it can see purple, it can see yellow, or whether it's orange. So I'm just going to give it a green-orange flash. And this cell here can see green and orange. So it could, green and yellow. So it could also be orange or it could also be purple. So I'm going to give it a flash as well. This cell, which has to be 6 or higher, can only be 6 or 8 on a black Kropke dot. They're the only available digits. Therefore, this has to be 3 or 4. So how am I going to kind of disambiguate this? You can see that this 6, 8 is different from this yellow 6, 8 because it can see it with Sudoku. But we need to try and figure out which is which. And ideally, if I can actually disambiguate, figure out what the purple is, that would be helpful. But I'm not really sure I see how to do that just yet. So maybe the question to ask is, what is this cell? Because you can see it sees 3 high digits. If that's another high digit, you know, that's quite restricted. And essentially, there is a 4th high digit. So that would be 6 or 8, which would make this the red cell, or I should say orange cell. And then all of these would be orange. And then it doesn't work because Sudoku says orange is not here. Sudoku says orange is not there. Orange is now on the sum line, which adds up to orange again. So clearly this cannot be a high digit. That has to be a low digit, and we have, I guess, the polarity of this German whisper line. I'm still nowhere near a digit at 4 minutes in, so I really need to sort of crack on, I think. This is 6 or 8 again. So whatever this cell is, this is 7 or 9. This is 6 or 8. I probably should have actually just pencil marked all of these quickly. Right, this is a low digit. Maybe let's carry on just playing the geometry game. Where does purple and green go in box 3? And I feel like there are only 3 options. Clearly not this cell, not the low one, not yellow. I don't think it can be on the region sum line. Clearly green cannot be. But the fact that we have 3 on here, trying to add any other low digit, even if it's a 6, which gets me to 9 with the 3, and another one which would break green. So purple and green are not in any of these cells. They are in one of these three. And then the question is, could this be a high digit? I almost don't see a reason why it wouldn't be. Am I overcomplicating this? Is the solution easier than what I'm seeing? Has to be. Let's think about it. If this is 6 or 8 as well, and this is 3 or 4, essentially what I'm saying is, actually, no, I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm saying this cell is here, because it's not yellow, and it's either purple or orange. So let me just kind of play that out for a second. I'm not sure it is, but I'm kind of hoping we can rule it out. And then we have the same problem again. It doesn't matter where the orange purple cell is, we've got the same problem. It just, literally, this cell cannot be on the right-hand side at all. So in fact, this cell is somewhere in here. It can only be, well, it could be one of these two cells, but it doesn't matter. This is low as well. These are purple and green. And we've already established that this being a 3 is a problem. I can't put any high digits on here. Digits from 6, 7, 8, or 9. 3, 6, and 1 gets me to 10. So this is also another high digit, whatever it may be. And it's definitely orange. Definitely orange. Because, you can see all of these cells. Right. Can I actually color code these reds at all? Can I do anything useful with some of these things? Really struggling with kind of the break-in here. 7 minutes. This was a 1-star difficulty rating, and I'm not sure why I'm not breaking through already. What am I missing? Maybe just Sudoku. Normally that's what I miss. So for example, I can't put a 6 or 8 on a 6 or 8. So the yellow cell is in none of these. There's a yellow cell down here. Yellow has to be there. Oh, hang on. Yellow could be here. That could be 6 or 8. What about this cell? It's not here. It's not there. Can't be on its sum. This is joining the yellow. So this is a 6-8 pair, incredibly. Making this 7-9. It's not purple. Come on. I really need to disambiguate these, and I'm not sure how to do so. So these are from 1, 2, and 4 with a definite 2. This is a high digit. This is 7 or 9. So one of these is 7 or 9. What a surprise. Where's this cell? It's in one of these two, isn't it? Yeah. So that rules out. No, hang on. This can still be yellow. Dear, oh dear. In fact, it is yellow. Isn't it? Because one of these is yellow. One of these is this cell. For the sake of argument, I'm just going to simplify my life a little bit and make these orange so I can actually talk about it. So this becomes... No, come on, Sleuth. You've got to be able to break through this. What is this cell? That's not, okay, that's not 7 or 9 or 6 or 8. So I mean, no, because this is a maximum of 8, I can't have a high digit in here. So essentially, I have 7 and 9 on this side as a pair. Because where else would they be in this box? I mean, because they can't live on the region sum line, and we've already excluded them from here with these 7-9 pairs. So essentially, I know that there is a 7-9 in here. I know that there is a 6-8 in here. So essentially, there is another high digit, which I really have no idea what it is in there. And that's the 4 high digits that I need. Except one of these is yellow. This is orange. I'm going to have to sort of try something here. If this was different from purple, that would be 6-8. Yellow would be somewhere in here, and then that all looks fine. And then this would be blue-green. These would be 7-9s. There'd be another 7-9 in here, whichever color this is not. Yeah, that all looks correct. That all looks plausible. Now, the other possibility is that this is purple, which feels highly unlikely for some reason, but let's give it a go. That means all of these are 6-8s. That means these are 7-9s. That has to be the second 6-8, so that would have to be purple. That would have to be green. Then yellow could still be in here, as is green, and then this would be orange. So this is still working. I think I need a different sort of way of breaking in here, and I'm not really sure what it is. Five is on this line with a 3 at least. This is a 1-5 pair. This is a 3. This is a 6. That's a 6. That's an 8. That's an 8. That's a 4. Wow, that was hard. That was very hard. This is now 9. These have to be from 1, 2, 3. Is that really the only way of breaking it in? I feel like I must be missing something. I have to be. Then we have 6 and 8 pair here, 7, 9 there. That all looks good. There is a 6 in one of these two cells with a second 7, 9. That all is fine. Right, these are 7 and 8. Sleuth. This was staring you like right in the face for so long. If this is purple, well, where does 8 go? I've essentially basically eliminated it from box 5. So this has to be 7. 8 is indeed a different color from purple. This has to be 9. That's green. That's almost embarrassingly long. That's not 9. That's 7, 9. And we can probably do a whole bunch of sum lines now. That's 1, 2, 4, for example. That's a 1, 5 looking at it. That's not a 1. We can probably do a bit of Sudoku in a second. How do I disambiguate these two? 7, 7. There's a 7 in here. There's a 7 down there. I don't think I can put a 7 on a 9. So that's a 7. 7 is in one of these two cells. That's not a 7. That's a 9. Therefore, that is green. This is a 6, 7 pair. I'll disambiguate them later. Therefore, that's 7. That's 9. That's not 7. That is 7. 9, you can see, well, I mean, we've already known it's down here. 8 and 6, we've already known that. This is either 6 or 7. So this is restricted to 1 or 2, depending on what the value is in here. That's a 6, 7 pair. We need something that sums up to 8. This could be done one of two ways. 1, 2, 5, which would break this cell and this cell, or 1, 3, 4, which gives me a 2, gives me a 7, gives me a 6. Right, I'm able to think again for some reason. That's not a 1 pair, that's a 2, 4. This is 1, 3, 4. What else can I do now? That's not a 2, that's not a 7, that's a 7. I need a 7 in here somewhere. Now, if that's a 7, that would be 6. And that looks fine as a 7, and that looks fine as a 7. We'll come back to this. Can I think that's all the 7s at the top done. We should probably just carry on with a bit of Sudoku, such as 9s are up here, 6s. That's the only place for a 6, which gives me the 9. I need a 6 in here. That can't be a 6 because that would be 7 or 5. It can't be either, so that's not 6. I need a 6 in there. 6 in one of these two cells. Already got this 6, 8. Yeah, tons of places for 6 in box 8. I need to make a bit more progress. Have I looked at 8s? That's an 8. That can't be an 8. We've got, oh, well, hang on. 8s, 8, and that can't be an 8 because 7 or 9 are not available. That's the 8. That gives me an 8 in one of these two cells. This 8 tells me where it is. Then I've got an 8 in here. Probably this box can help me more than I'm using it because, you know, it can't be on the region sum line. Now that I've placed a 6, I could have done 6, 1, 2, but I've placed a 6. So 7 and 8 are not in here. So let's think about where they are. 8's not there. 8's not in any of these. 8 is in here. 9 is clearly not in there. Not on its own region line. Not in here. That's an 8-9 pair. That's a 7. Not 7. Not 7. That's a 7-9 pair. 8, 9 are placed. 8, 6. What about 9 in this box? Do I know anything about it? Not entirely. 9, yeah, I do know here. I can place a 9 there. I can place a 6 here. That removes a 6 from here. Places the 6 there. 9s, that's another 8-9 pair. Right, 6s. There is a 6-7 pair now. Just Sudoku. Which also stops that from being a 7 because 8 and 6 are not available. That's a 6, that's a 5, that's a 7, that's a 9, that's a 7, that's an 8, that's a 6, 8, 9, 8, 9. I think that's all the high digits done now. 5. What do we have in here? We need a 2 in this column. It can only be down there. And 4 and 5, that 5 tells me that's the 5, that's the 4. I need 1 and 3 in here, not disambiguated. That's another 5. No, not. Actually, 1, 2, 4, that can only be a 3, because I have 1, 2, 3 available. That's a 3, that's not 3. Have I missed anything else? Not really. That's 1, 2. 4 can only be in here. This is 1, 2, and 5. Not sure I can disambiguate these just yet. Have I done all I can with the sums? That's probably going to be helpful, isn't it? What is this line, for example? I've got 1, 2, and 4 staring at this cell. That's a 5. That's got to be a 1, 3 pair. That gives me a 4. These are not 4s. That I should be able to just write in. That's a 2. That gives me a 2 in box 5. That's a 1, 3 pair. Removing 1s from here, giving me a 1 there, a 3, a 1. Let's carry on. We've got 1, 3, and 4 to be placed. That's another 1, 3. That gives me 2 and 4 to be placed. The 2 has to be here. That's the 4. That's 1 or 3. That's 1, 3, 1. 1 is in here. That's not 2 or 4. It's just 5, which gives me a 4 since the 6 is not available. That 4 helps me unwind this 2, 4 pairs. That's got to be a 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 3, 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, 2, if I've not made any mistakes, 4 in the solution to today's puzzle. I mean, once you actually sort of figure out the colors, or at least disambiguate these, it's smooth sailing. It's just, I think I made this far harder than it really was by not thinking about the implications of Sudoku if all of these were the same cell. I mean, that would have probably saved me at least 5 minutes of just running around the entire grid trying to prove whether this is the same digit or not. Aside from kind of my bad, hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle. I mean, it's a lovely puzzle. You know, just thinking about just a handful of region sum lines and just the careful construction and geometry of it allows you to solve this entire grid. Phenomenal. See you back for the next video. Bye-bye for now.